Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate what you could expect from a random sample of a Sigma compact hyper zoom 28 to 200 3.5 to 5.6 macro. It's got a metal flange. It looks really nicely made, but the results were not so good. At 200 millimeters, I was having the damnedest time. I was taking like 3 pictures in a row trying to get a good picture. 135, 80, 50, 35, and 28, it worked pretty good, but I had to stop down to F10. It has a switch for manual and autofocus. It's on the Canon Rebel XT. I had the original one, which was pretty bad, and it suffered from unintended erections, or even if you had it like that and walked around it, it would open up like that. Although this one has a lock, the other one didn't have a lock. This one has a lock, but you didn't need it. The one that needed a lock didn't have a lock, so there's that. So 2013, me and my girlfriend went over to City, and originally the first stop was 5 Points in Long Island City, Queens, New York City. Then we went to Dumbo, which is down under Manhattan Brooklyn Bridge, and this video concerns Dumbo. The same equipment and the same lighting. It was completely overcast. Maybe it got a little bit lighter later on in the day, but the sun never came out strongly. So I got some really good pictures I was happy with, except the ones I took at 200 millimeters wasn't too good. So this goes into my wall of shame. I know it malfunctioned on this camera, although this camera still works with other lenses. I put other autofocus lenses on it, and I didn't have any troubles. Non-Canon lenses, it hunted a little bit, or gave me erroneous autofocusing, but they fixed that in the XTI, and that took great pictures at all lenses. Oh, this one malfunctioned. It doesn't work anymore. You can't stop down the aperture. The autofocus really doesn't work. So there's all that good stuff. I had four Sigma lenses, 3 I bought used, 1 I bought new. I had trouble with all of them. I got rid of all of them. I had some vintage Sigma lenses, and they suffered from the aperture stopped working. So I don't know what to think about Sigma. I know people are going to say, oh, Sigma's great, blah, 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 this and that. Well, more power to you that you were able to get good results. I go with other brands, and I'm happy with them. But why don't we just jump right into the slideshow, and you can see yourself. This is the 8 megapixel Rebel XT. I just have this lens on here. I'm doing some other experiment with this. And I bought this camera brand new, like for $700. You believe that? And now they're not even worth $50. You give them away for free. But you know, hey, you got a camera, you use it, right? Just take snapshots to your heart content, see how long it takes for it to crap out. I mean, for the purpose of a 1920 by 1080 video, it doesn't matter. That is 8 megapixels because you're either going to crop them or shrink them down. So there's that. And I like the way a lot of pictures came out at Dumbo. And I did have to adjust the parameters a little bit, like maybe a little bit the color balance and maybe the highlights, but that's it. I only sharpened 1 or 2, and you could see, why don't you see if you notice which ones I sharpened. So at the time, I didn't have a lot of money, so I just couldn't drop this and go out and get a better lens. Although eventually I did get another lens, and I sort of, let this fall by the wayside. And I'll tell you what, I got, well, look at it, it's compact, it's the 28 to 200, so if it worked, oh, it would have been great. But you know, it didn't work so good, and they put like a phony red ring on it, so you think it's like an L lens or something, but it's a L in this case would stand for lousy. So, but let's just jump right into the slideshow, and then you could decide. After me and my GF did the 5 Points graffiti mecca, we went over to Fulton Landing, and they had one of those tourist maps there, and I took a picture of it. And Fulton Landing is just right by Dumbo, which is down under the Manhattan Brooklyn Bridge. Here's some dog and it's checking out. You know, it's a really strange day beneath the Brooklyn Bridge, huh? It was a really strange day in as much as it was heavy overcast and it looks like maybe it was going to rain, but then you could just see the sun almost came out, but it didn't. This is the Manhattan Bridge. And everything was evenly lit. No heavy dark shadows, no bright highlights. It's a perfect day for taking these sort of pictures. There's a pedestrian walkway up there that has to be shared with bicyclists, and bicyclists act like you got to get out of their way. So it's there's some tension in this city between pedestrians and bicyclists, without a doubt. Here's we're in Fulton Park. We're looking back at Lower Manhattan, like that's the financial district. That's the Brooklyn Bridge, and there's lots of people milling around, and you can see a lot of familiar buildings, but a different viewpoint. Of course, if you live in Brooklyn, you probably see this all the time. And here's a view through the arches of the Manhattan Bridge, and you can see the Freedom Tower is still under construction. This is City Hall, and they have a golden statue on top. You see the bridge looks pretty rusty, huh? You know, and you know, if it was a sunny day, there would be harsh shadows and bright, and you couldn't get a proper exposure. And here's some building. Looks like it's being something's doing, renovating it, sandblasting it, painting. Who knows? But that's what's from 12 years ago, so it's all different. Here's the Brooklyn Bridge, and some people milling around, and you know, it's just a fantastic photo ops there. 200 millimeters. It came out almost perfectly sharp. I don't get it. Maybe the stiction was working out of it as I was using it throughout the day. That's not to say that it crapped out again later. And here's a close-up of whatever tarps they were putting on the bridge to whatever they're doing. Maybe they're sandblasting it. Or here's some remnants of some you know, industrial bricks and some natural bricks. And what was that for? A culvert or something? I haven't the faintest idea. I can see it's sort of falling apart. I like the range of colors though. The green, the red, the gray, and there's some metal there. It used to be all piers where the ships would come in and load and unload and dock and stuff, and now it's all moldering away. I don't even know that's still there now. Or these two wooden piers, are they still there after 12 years? I don't know. You know, I haven't been back since then. You know, I live close enough to get to the city, but it's still a hassle to get there. You know, say it's an hour ride to my girlfriend's house, then maybe it's an hour ride to get to the city. There's all these tour boats you can take around the city. And then, you know, there's mass transportation in the city. They say these great things about it, but it's slow. And, you know, oh, and years ago, you didn't have to worry about crazed homeless people or just crazy people, you know, who just randomly tall chalk and knife the person next to them. And now there's a fireboat. Looks like Domino Sugar. You can see it's all industrial there. I don't know if that stuff's still there. You know, I just haven't been there that long. There's that same C Street boat. I guess maybe that's his turnaround spot or something. Here's a 200 millimeter picture that came out really good. I was shocked, you know. So sometimes it worked, but most of the time it didn't. John Street and Adams Street. John Street is named after all the people who use prostitutes. And this is more of the industrial area here. That's sort of outside the park, and it does have this industrial look to it. It's warehousing, you know, manufacturing. Those are actual, real sailing ships on the other side of the river in Lower Manhattan, and you can see the foreground. This plant was just growing out of these rocks. I felt sorry for the plant, poor plant. So I don't know if they fixed it, but it still looked pretty grungy waterfront there. All these young adults went down. They were checking it out. I like you know, this smashed up glass on this concrete apron with some graffiti marking. I thought it was cool. You know, the green glass, red paint, concrete texture. Here's a lanyard on some hook. I got a loop. Maybe that's where they tied up the captain's dinghy And it was the perfect day to take these pictures. If I was there and the sun was out, maybe it'd be harsh shadows, and now I could get see all the detail. And there's always these ships and boats coming up and down the river that looks like a tramp steamer and a tourist boat. Here's a little shot a couple seconds later, and the lighting was so even. That's what I liked about it. People have a photo shoot for their wedding there, and then people just hang out. And here's the Brooklyn Bridge again. I didn't see Slip Mahoney or Bugsy or anybody, none of the boys from the Bowery or the Dead End Kids. They got a merry-go-round under the freaking Brooklyn Bridge. Welcome to Brooklyn, Coney Island's calling. I wonder if that sign's still there or if it's different. I guess they were painting the Manhattan Bridge too. It's very ornate, iron or steel or something. I bet it rusts. So the Brooklyn Bridge is there. I'm glad I took these pictures because it had this apron on it, which is unusual. And you can see here's another tourist boat coming up the river. And they used to be reasonably priced. I don't know how much they cost now. These people aren't looking at me taking pictures of them. They're looking at the bridal party in back of me. And that looks a little blurry to me. If you look to fine detail of the faces, it was hard to tell. And that was at 200 millimeters. So sometimes it was spot on, but most of the time it wasn't. And of course, this is a Sigma 28 to 200 hyper zoom. I stay away from Sigma products. There's so many other options out there. I would recommend Tokina over Sigma or Tamron over Sigma. Tamron makes some excellent optics. Here's that bridal party again. I wonder if they're still married. They would be on their 12th anniversary now, I guess. And you can see it's all an industrial area, and it all used to be for ships and docking and everything, and now it's all being gentrified and turned into a tourist trap. And here's that merry-go-round. As you can see, it's pretty crowded there now. Now, this classic car, maybe that's the chauffeur there, and he's waiting for the bridal party to get back in and take him to the reception or something. And there's this other car, too. Nice car, isn't that? I don't know, what is that, a Pierce Arrow? I have no idea. It was a nice car. And the lighting made it perfect. That, there was no harsh shadows. You could really check out the lines of the car. This mast is just decorative. I guess there's a commemorative plaque underneath it. I forget. Maybe I didn't check it out completely. Here's a close-up of that one classic car. Real spoke wheels. Here's another view, some compressed perspective. Well, I don't know. I took some nice pictures. As long as I stayed away from 200, I got some good results. Water main, get it? Water main. But I can't recommend this lens. If you're going to depend on this lens or keep it for a long time, you're going to lose some pictures. You're definitely going to lose some pictures because it wasn't working right. I just had that experience with Sigma lenses that a lot of them don't work right. Either the optics are bad and they don't work right, or optics are good and they don't work right. This looks like a commissioned mural. So, and here's some more street art of fish heads. So the bottom dollar is stay away from the Sigma 28 to 200. You'll thank me.